This is the third session on the SAT Math Substitution strategy, and this one we'll be looking at its use in geometry problems. As a refresher, the strategy for multiple choice problems, you choose numbers for variables, solve the problem as an arithmetic problem, and then substitute the numbers into the answer choices till you get a match with your solution. And it works because the answer that's true in general also has to be true for any specific numbers. As usual, if you want to try this on your own before seeing the solution, you can pause the screen now. So what they want here is, what is angle C in terms of angles A and B? So, and in terms of problems, so we can cross that out and choose numbers for A and B. Okay, so A looks like a little more than 90, so let's make that 100. B, say 120. Okay, by vertical angle rules, this has to be C also. And by the 180 rule on a line, I'm going to call this, say, X. That has to be 80. And if we call this Y, by the 180 rule with B, Y has to be 60. Okay, so the arithmetic question now becomes, what is angle C? Since these have to sum to 180, this is 140, so C has to be 40. Okay, and the next step, check the answers to see which matches it. So A plus B is going to be too high. A minus B is going to be negative. 2A is 200. O plus B, that's going to be way too high. 180 minus 100 and minus 120. So that's going to be negative. So let's hope E is correct. So A is 100 and B is 120 minus 180. So 220 minus 180 is 40. So E is the answer. And what are the algebra or geometric rules in this case that they're testing? Well, the rules for degrees in a triangle and on a line, and also the vertical angle rule. So no matter how many figures there are in a geometry problem, the vertical angle rule and the 180 on a line, as long as there are lines, may be a factor in it. Okay, so the solution would be x plus y plus c, if you did it algebraically, is equal to 180, and x is 180 minus a, and y is 180 minus b, plus c is equal to 180. Since we have 180 on both sides, we could subtract 180 from both sides, and we get minus a plus 180 minus b plus c is equal to 0. And if we add a and b to both sides and subtract 180 from both sides, we remove all of this from here, so we have to add a and b and subtract 180 from this side. Whoops. Also, so we get c is equal to a plus b minus 180. Algebraically, when a problem asks for something in terms of some other things, what it is asking for is that something on one side of an equation by itself and the other things on the other side. Next problem. You can pause the screen if you want to try it on your own before looking at the solution. What is angle x in terms of angles A, B, C, and D? So the usual in terms of problems. So you can cross this out and it becomes an arithmetic problem. And the question is, what is angle x? And we need to choose numbers for A, B, C, and D. Okay, so let's make A, let's say 30. So x, well, I guess we'd want to start with x first. So let's make x 80. That looks a little less than 90. So by the 180 degrees on a line rule, this has to be 100. And by the 180 on a line rule, or by the vertical angles, this also has to be 100. Okay, so by the 180 for triangles rule, so B has to be 50. And all we need to do with C and D is to make sure they add up to 80. So let's use something a little different. So make this 20 and D 60. So the answer to the arithmetic problem, what is angle x? X is equal to 80. So what is equivalent to it? So let's see, we have a lot of A plus B plus C plus D's in here. So if we did that, it's 30 plus 50, which is the 80 over here, and we have another 80 over here. So that's plus 20 plus 60. So, and those four add up to 160. So A is 360 minus 160, 200, that doesn't work. And if we add these up, that's not, oh, both B and C are going to be too high. And D is also going to be 160. And E is going to be 160 over 2, which is what we're looking for. And again, the rules they're testing here are 180 on a line, vertical angle rules, and angles in a triangle have to sum to 180. Okay, so, and if we call, let's say, this angle y, if we look at for an algebraic solution, x plus y has to equal to 180. And y plus a plus b also has to be equal to 180. Okay, so what does that tell us? That x has to be equal to a plus b. And that's rule an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. And likewise, if this is y, then x plus y is equal to 180, and c plus d plus y is equal to 180. So x has to be equal to c plus d. And if we add these two sides, 2x is equal to a plus b plus c plus d. and divide both sides by by 2, we get the algebraic solution. But of course you didn't need to know that. All you needed to do was follow the substitution strategy. Okay. And that's the end of the third session on the substitution strategy.